Coach Ben Hammerschmidt, if you wouldn't mind putting his picture up here, I've got a photograph of him, was my football coach. And in 1978, I got a telephone call from the principal in that high school. And he said, you know, Coach Hammerschmidt is retiring, and we're going to have a number of his athletes. There's going to be 500 of them actually came from around the whole country. And they asked me to be on the dais, if you will, to say a few words. Now, I never wrote a poem before, and it's interesting sometimes where when you get yourself out of the way, things occur to you. And I sat down and I wrote this poem, which took about 5 minutes to read. I'm going to recite it to you here in a minute, I hope. May I tell you a story about a voice that I hear? It's often been with me for the past 20 years. It guides me through life and helps set me straight as the voice of my coach, a man who is great. The voice doesn't speak nor come on with the blare, but it is nonetheless constantly there. I remember a time when playing third base when the bases were loaded and I lost some face. 2 men were out and the score was tied, and I was asleep. I could have cried. A gentle liner was hit. I reacted too slow. It struck my glove and bounced to and fro. The ball rolled forward, the runners went speeding, and inside my body was a heart quickly beating. I raced for the ball that long afternoon and hurled it to first, to big Dan McCune. Dan made a stretch as far as he dare, and out, said the ump, but by less than a hair. There was no criticism, nor was there reproach from the voice that still guides me, the voice of my coach. He could have said, "Where was your head?" or given me reason to wish I were dead. But as I jogged off the field, I heard Coach Ben say, "It was only your hustle that made that good play." Of the good things he spoke, not of the bad, and those I still hear as though he were Dad. How lucky I am to be privileged to sit in the comfortable presence of Coach Hammerschmidt. And another time I clearly recall in the year 58, approaching the fall, when Coach Ben made a comment I'll never forget. It's always been with me, on that you can bet. But a little history must now set the stage for that comment so large that no one can gauge. 'Twas a football scrimmage, the first of the year. They had the ball first. We all felt some fear. Their quarterback faded and threw a bad pass. It fell in my arms without any class. I claimed no award for the next event, for I ran unchallenged for a score hell-bent. Of course it felt good, though the feat was not great. It created a high I recall to this date. 1 week later, just before our first game, the students assembled. All of them came, and Coach Ben took the mic and told of our team. And last week's scrimmage, he began to beam. Whew. He told of that touchdown that was to their plague and referred to me then as the great Gary Craig. Now, he didn't say good or pretty darn fair. Great was the word that filled all the air, and standing was I amidst all of my peers, using all of my manhood, to disguise many tears. My soul had been filled with much self-belief by Ben with his stature as commander-in-chief. No one but Ben could say what he said and impact a young boy and fill up his head, for Coach Ben to me was bigger than earth, with the power to fill me with all that self-worth. The season went on, his words in my soul, and more than just once we crossed a few goals. Now the years have gone by, it's 2 decades hence, and the voice is still with me, still making sense. It calls to me often, letting me know that nothing can stop me wherever I go, for those who can and those who cannot are separate only by the size of their thought. Now today is the day for a splendid occasion, to honor my coach, a man of persuasion, to give him some love from those who have taken and let him retire from a field he has shaken. But I cannot permit that voice to fade out. It must carry on so that fewer will doubt. So the voice of my coach will not dormant lie. It'll live on and on after Ben and I die. For I have a son, his age is now 7. Adam's his name, a descendant from heaven. And my son has a nickname that will help him, I beg. Whew. For I often call him the great Adam Craig. I did it. Okay.